We begin today with breaking news from windward Oahu. Kamehameha Highway is closed in both directions right now near Crouching Lion because of a crash. We just got these images into our newsroom from viewers. It appears that a flatbed truck that was transporting some kind of heavy machinery lost its load near a turn in the roadway. Now, no word on any injuries, but the crash is sure to cause some traffic issues. For the latest on that, let's send it over to Jonathan Masaki.
Well, actually, we're going to go to our maps right now to show you just the vast expanse of where it's affecting the traffic right now. You're going to see all of that purple right now on Kamehameha Highway. The crash, of course, like you said, is right by Crouching Lion, but it spans quite lengthy right now. We're told from HPD. This is expanding from the roadway Huamanalani Road and Hauula Homestead Road. So expect delays in that area. Drive with caution. You may want to consider an alternative route. Now, speaking of alternative routes, as you know, it's just a two-lane highway over there. So your best bet, if you're trying to get to that neck of the woods, you probably should take the 8th through to Haleiwa and then the other side of the island versus going through Kamehameha Highway right now. So that's the latest for you. We'll keep you updated online and here at Hawaii News Now. Ashley, back to you.
Thank you, Jonathan. On Maui, teachers who played a critical role in keeping Lahaina schools open following the wildfire disaster were honored today. Dylan Ancheta joins us with the details. Dylan.
Thank you so much, Ashley. Governor Green and Superintendent Keith Hayashi were there on hand at the Lahaina Luna campus today, alongside just 2 of the educators who were recognized. Now, when the Hero Awards program was announced earlier this year, the state said it was to honor DOE employees who directly supported Lahaina students when the schools reopened. Many took on roles at other campuses and worked to make sure students arrived safely, transitioned well, and had the tools they needed. HERO stands for Honoring Employees' Resilience and Optimism, and the state estimated some 400 employees were eligible within the award period.
I'm here today with a heart full of gratitude for what people have done and admiration for their ability to really stand up and fight for the keiki that were affected so profoundly.
I see the progress in Lahaina every day as I drive in, and I can't wait for the day when our home starts the process of being rebuilt and we can finally be home. To my school community, as a parent of a student, I say thank you. Thank you for your yes. Thank you for showing up, especially on the really hard days. And I say and encourage you to keep the vision of our Lahaina schools alive inside of your spirit, because what you do and how you sow into the children's lives will shape our future community of Lahaina.
Eligible salaried employees will receive $2,500 per award period, while casual employees will receive up to $1,000. Now, the money for this one-time initiative is all thanks to a generous donation from Hawaii philanthropist Mark Benioff, chair and CEO of Salesforce, and his wife, Lynn. Dylan Ancheta, Hawaii News Now.
Thank you, Dylan. Meanwhile, Hawaii Senator Brian Schatz is continuing his pleas on the Senate floor, pushing for long-term funding for Maui's recovery efforts.
They are trying to rebuild this beautiful, historic, pluralistic, joyful, multicultural town. But they need our help. The one thing we cannot leave undone in December, the one thing we cannot leave undone in December is disaster aid, not just for the people of Maui, but for people all across the country.
Senator Schatz is a senior member of the Senate Appropriations Committee. His office says this week the senator worked with the White House to release an updated disaster funding request and pressed the Department of Housing and Urban Development on rebuilding homes in Lahaina. FEMA, meanwhile, is notifying Maui wildfire survivors of a change in the rental assistance program. Starting in March, FEMA will begin collecting rent from the direct housing assistance participants based on their ability to pay. Affected families are encouraged to plan for that change and contact FEMA or the Maui County Office of Recovery for more information. Happening tonight and tomorrow, trucks will be hauling modular homes for wildfire survivors. Work hours are from 9 p.m. to midnight, and the caravan will travel about 25 miles from Kahului to Lahaina, where there is a temporary housing site. Meanwhile, FEMA will be holding an official opening and blessing ceremony for its Kilohana housing project today. That starts at 2 p.m. on Fleming Road in Lahaina. And as commercial and property owners in Lahaina rebuild, the State Historic Preservation Division is looking to streamline approvals. They are working to balance speed with the protection of historic and archaeological resources, particularly EV. They are considering developing sensitivity maps and one archaeological monitoring plan that all residential and commercial property owners can use, so they don't need individual ones. The CDC is reporting the first confirmed case of bird flu in a child. Health officials say the child lives in California's Alameda County and is recovering at home with mild symptoms. Now, they are investigating how the child was infected and say the child may have been exposed to wild birds. There have been at least 46 confirmed cases of bird flu in U.S. adults. Most of them have been farm workers. President-elect Donald Trump wasted no time tapping a new pick for Attorney General after it became clear his original choice had no path to confirmation. Nicole Skanga reports from Washington.
Hours after Matt Gaetz was out, Pam Bondi was in as President-elect Donald Trump's pick for Attorney General. Bondi is a former two-term Florida State Attorney General and a staunch Trump ally who's been signaling the administration's intentions for over a year.
When Republicans take back the White House, and we will, the Department of Justice, the prosecutors will be prosecuted, the bad ones. The investigators will be investigated.
Speaking on Fox and Friends, RNC Chairman Michael Whatley says Bondi will deliver on Trump's agenda.
She is going to focus on the issues that need to be focused on, right? We need a safer communities. We need a safer country. She is going to be able to deliver that. We cannot go through what we have over the last 8 years with the weaponization of justice that we've seen with all of the attempts to go after Donald Trump.
Bondi has received a wave of support from Republican senators who were wary of the sexual misconduct investigation swirling around Gaetz. Allegations that Gaetz denies. We're told that President-elect Trump is aiming to announce his full cabinet before Thanksgiving. One thing off the president-elect's plate, a looming sentence in his 34-count conviction for falsifying business records to cover up payments made to adult film star Stormy Daniels before the 2016 election. A New York judge postponed the sentencing indefinitely. It had been set for next week.
The chances that Trump would actually get sentenced to, jail or any sort of meaningful punishment at this point is virtually zero.
Trump's motion to dismiss the case is due December 2nd. Nicole Skanga, CBS News, Washington.
Overseas, NATO and Ukraine will hold emergency talks after Russia attacked a Ukrainian city with an experimental hypersonic ballistic missile that escalated the nearly 33-month-old war. Richard Engel reports from Kyiv.
This time, it's Vladimir Putin who is escalating. He fired yesterday a new type of super-fast hypersonic ballistic missile at Ukraine. It exploded, not causing much damage outside the city of Dnipro. Putin called it a test. It was also clearly a warning, a signal to President Biden, because it came just after President Biden authorized Ukraine to fire American-made weapons deeper inside Russia, which is something that the Ukrainian government had been asking for and then immediately did, with President Zelensky launching those missiles deep inside of Russia. And now we are in this cycle of escalation with all three parties involved in this conflict. The Biden administration pushing the chips in at the end of the administration, the President Zelensky trying, it seems, to capture as much territory as possible, show as much strength as possible, and Vladimir Putin trying to respond and hang on and not show weakness before the arrival of President Trump, who has promised to end this conflict on the first day in office. So it seems that all three sides here are trying to secure the best position possible before he comes to office.
That's Richard Engel reporting. Now, just in, the State Labor Department is set to launch its new unemployment insurance call center on Monday. The updates are designed to improve access to the program and enhance the overall customer experience. The revamped call center will include dedicated lines for specific services such as regular unemployment claims, fraud and identity theft, overpaid benefits, pandemic unemployment assistance, and employer services. It'll also offer direct menu options in multiple languages. Now, the call center's number is there on your screen. Meanwhile, the department is also launching a streamlined web inquiry form on December 19th. There's a renewed focus on firearms with no serial numbers. Police say it's past time for a crackdown on ghost guns, but first they need the laws to change. Ben Gutierrez found out why.
You see two weapons in front of you. One of them is a ghost gun, one of them is real and legal. Which one is it?
Registered firearms have a serial number and a document trail. Ghost guns don't. 5 years after Kapono Miranda used one to kill Alan Jennings in an Almoana parking lot, privately made firearms are on the rise.
Up to October 31st, January 1st, October 31st, we had 88 ghost gun related offenses, so meaning that either the gun was seized standalone or it was incorporated with a crime.
HPD is especially worried about what's known as an 80% firearm, which is made of separate parts, often ordered online.
And that would be considered 80% the lower half. And then they would order the other parts, the upper half.
And they put it together themselves?
They put it together themselves, and it would be considered a fully functional firearm.
The issue is that if they're not operable when we recover them, we may not be able to bring charges on them because of the way that the statute is written. It's not an operational weapon.
HPD is asking lawmakers to make a clear ban on possession of those parts.
It doesn't matter where you made it, how you made it. You shouldn't be walking around town with it. Because what I believe and what we believe here is that why would you be carrying around gun parts in town?
The department is also pushing for federal legislation to require the parts to be registered if they're being shipped between states. Major Lambert showed us how quickly those parts can be assembled into a working weapon.
Little off center. Okay, and now you have
and then had me do it.
Okay, slap the bottom, time. 29. Okay, so 29 seconds, right?
Yeah. HPD wants laws that would include jail time for possession of ghost gun parts, mainly to deter teens and young adults.
They don't realize the gravity of carrying a weapon. So what we want to do is we want to discourage that by saying, you carry that weapon, you will do a mandatory set of time.
Back to our quiz. If you guessed that this one is the ghost gun, you're right.
But it's still a guess, and both can be equally deadly. Ben Gutierrez, Hawaii News Now.
Lighter winds across the entire island chain over the past couple of days. Been giving you the first alert since back on Monday and Tuesday of this week. And you can take a look outside right now. Weaker winds are in the forecast going forward over the next couple of days. Right now in town, we're seeing southerly winds around 7 miles per hour, and that's over the last hour. We'll continue to see weaker winds throughout this afternoon as well. As we're going forward in our first alert windcast, we've got an overall northeasterly flow. However, weaker winds are expected. This is Friday at 6 p.m. and then tomorrow morning, much weaker winds. We're expecting weaker winds and drier weather over the next couple of days. Here's a quick glimpse at our first alert radar and satellite, where you can see we've had some upper level clouds across the state. I'll break this down in my full forecast coming up.
Just ahead on This Is Now, how the weather and surge in travelers could impact your Thanksgiving holiday flights. Plus, more products are added to a nationwide recall of carrots. We'll tell you what brands are affected when we come back. Many Americans are already heading out of town for Thanksgiving break, adding to what experts say will be a record-breaking travel rush. Both weather and the sheer volume of travelers are expected to impact trips across the country. Tom Costello has more.
Yeah, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, hey, wait a minute, Thanksgiving's not till Thursday. We got some time. Yeah, but a lot of people are now leaving early for Thanksgiving. They're working remotely from their Thanksgiving location, and so that spreads out the Thanksgiving travel period, and more people now are traveling because of that. The TSA now says they expect record volumes at airports nationwide, up 6% over last year, which, by the way, was a record breaker. And over the summer, you know, we had nearly 3 million, in some cases more than 3 million people a day moving through checkpoints. TSA expects the same thing over Thanksgiving. And as you know, weather is always the big variable this time of year. Yesterday, snow in Chicago. I got caught up in it. That led to delays at O'Hare. 60% of flights at O'Hare yesterday delayed. Up in Boston, it was the rain. A quarter of all flights in Boston delayed. So the weather will be the big variable next week. If you talk to the airlines, they'd rather deal with snow than the thunderstorms in the summer. That's a lot more unpredictable and dangerous. On the roads, record volume also expected, according to AAA. And oh, by the way, have you noticed gas prices are down 25 cents from a year ago? Half the country right now paying under $3 a gallon. So we're going to see a lot of people on the roads, and the busiest time, as you know, is between 1 p.m. and 7 p.m. And the busiest days are going to be Tuesday and Wednesday, and then Sunday after Thanksgiving, both on the roads and also at the airport. So leave early, and you should expect there's going to be an awful lot of folks out there with you traveling for this break. Back to you.
And don't forget, there are new rules in place aimed at protecting you when you fly. If your flight is canceled and you and your airline do not rebook, you get an automatic refund. Now, if the flight is delayed more than 3 hours domestically or more than 6 hours internationally, and you don't accept rebooking or other offers, you can get an automatic refund. Hawaii travelers we spoke with are skeptical of the fine print.
Oh, I've been in terrible cancellations. Yet another law in this country that is great in theory, but in practice, it's kind of a mess.
That's great news. I hope people get reimbursed for the inconvenience. I really do, and I hope it's easy. I hope it's not this long process.
Domestic passengers can also get a refund on baggage fees if their luggage is delayed more than 12 hours. The DOT says the airlines must provide prompt, automatic refunds using the same payment that was used to buy the ticket. Hyundai is recalling 145,000 vehicles. This recall affects their Ioniq and Genesis models. The issue involves a damaged charging unit that could lead to a loss of drive power, increasing the risk of a crash. Owners can take their vehicles to the dealership for inspection and replacement of the fuse if necessary. A recall of carrots due to potential E. coli contamination is expanding to include 4 more products. Grimway Farms is now adding Bunny Love's 50-pound bag of whole carrots, Cal Organics 15 and 50-pound bags, and Good & Gather's 1-pound bag of whole carrots. Now, the tainted carrots have caused 1 death and sickened dozens of other people in 18 states, but none in Hawaii so far. For a full list of recalled products, just head to our website.
And stick around. Coming up after the break, your 7-day forecast. We're tracking a beautiful weekend ahead.
First Alert Weather with Drew Davis.
And happy Aloha Friday, everybody. We've got a beautiful weekend in store. I do want to talk about our First Alert Weather headlines and what we've got in the forecast over the next couple of days. We've got light winds, limited showers, and also a weak front that's going to start next week. So let's take a look at our hour-by-hour forecast. Right now, we're seeing actually southern winds around 7 miles per hour, and temperatures are very comfortable out there. We're going to be in the mid to low 80s today. Right now, it's actually around 79 degrees. We could see some high temperatures getting a little bit warmer than that. Expanding it out hour by hour, you can see we're going to be in the low 80s. East-northeasterlies around 5 to 10 miles per hour. And of course, we could see even more variable winds out there as well. Taking another look at your First Alert windcast, we've been giving you the first alert over the past couple of days for our weak winds. And you can see that outside. That's the case throughout Friday afternoon, Saturday afternoon as well. Variable winds out of the southwest in town around 6 miles per hour for Saturday afternoon. And luckily, because we're seeing these lighter winds, we also have drier air that's going to make it feel more comfortable. It's not going to be as humid out there that we typically see with light and variable winds. Taking a look at the overall weather pattern as we're going forward over the next couple of days, you're going to notice drier weather and a couple of showers, mostly over the eastern half of the state, windward Maui and windward Hawaii Island as well. As we're going into Sunday night and Monday, we're actually tracking a weak front that's going to approach from the northwest. This is going to give us a better chance for some showers out there, but overall it doesn't look to be heavy rainfall, just a better chance for some windward showers throughout Sunday night, Monday, and the first half of Tuesday. Overall, a very dry weather pattern expected over the next couple of days. You can take a look at our surf and shoreline forecast for Friday evening. North-facing shores are on the rise around 6 to 8 feet. We're seeing a small pulse today. West-facing shores around 2 to 4 feet, but we'll also see a little bit of a pulse as we're going to Saturday. East-facing shores seeing a bump as well. You can see those swells moving in as we're going into Saturday on both north and west-facing shores and north and east-facing shores. We're also tracking a larger swell that's going to arrive Monday night into Tuesday. And of course, we had that full moon about a week ago. Box jellyfish are back in the forecast. High probability out there throughout Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So just be careful on Oahu south and west-facing shores. Your First Alert 7-day forecast. Beautiful weather out there for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Very light winds over the next couple of days. And of course, we're tracking a better chance for showers next week with the front that's going to be approaching from the northwest.
Thank you, Drew. Coming up, hoping to replicate the success of last year's Barbenheimer phenomenon, we'll tell you what two movies are looking to break box office records together this weekend. Stunning. Hong Kong kicked off the holiday season with a fireworks display that illuminated the night sky over the iconic Victoria Harbor. The 10-minute show, accompanied with Christmas songs, was the first of 4 seasonal Christmas fireworks shows. There's also a 65-foot Christmas tree decorated in red and gold, and Hong Kong's tourism board said it hoped to attract more visitors over for the festive season.
It's that time of year.
Yeah. And if you're looking for something to do this weekend, you might want to head to theaters.
The studios behind Wicked and Gladiator 2 are looking to smash box office records. So far, Wicked has made over $19 million at the box office. Thanks to early screenings throughout the week, the film adaptation of the Broadway musical is expected to be one of the biggest openings of the year, with an estimated sales of about $110 million. And Ridley Scott's Gladiator 2 made $6.5 million in Thursday previews. The sequel to 2000's ancient Roman epic is predicted to open with around $65 million. I'm going to see Wicked tomorrow. My fiance really likes Wicked, so I'm very excited about it.
Love the Broadway show. That's going to be a great movie too. I also love the Gladiator.
Yeah, I'm very excited. Maybe that's next week and I'll go see Gladiator 2. But Wicked is actually part 1 of 2. They're making a part 2, so it's a long set of movies that's going to be coming out. So
we're movie buffs, so we're very excited about that. All right, thanks for watching. This is Now. More news first at 4 right here on KCHNL.